Hey, thanks for joining me again. I have 2 stories for you. I hope you enjoy them. As always, spelling and grammar mistakes courtesy of Reddit. Lol. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow. Thank you. This story is titled, I've been seeing this guy, and his friend drunkenly told me to be cautious. I, 25 female, met this guy, 24 male, we'll call him B, a few weeks back. We talked for a week before meeting in person, and since then things have progressed a lot. We've hung out quite a bit, and he met my parents at a bar where my dad's band was doing a gig. B brought a friend and I brought a friend. Pretty casual meeting. That same night that he met my parents, his friend told me that B is a really awesome guy. He'd never be dishonest or disloyal. His friend and I were both drunk during this conversation, but I remember him saying that he doesn't think he's talking to other girls, but even if he was, B is into me. A few days later, I asked B what he's looking for. This was the second week of seeing each other. He told me that he initially wasn't sure, but he really likes where things are going with me, and then asked what I'm looking for. I said the same thing, but that if he was doing what we're doing with other girls, I wouldn't be okay with it. He agreed, and then asked if we could keep doing what we're doing and keep progressing. This past weekend though, B and I were FaceTiming after a number of drinks and his phone died. So, the same friend I mentioned above FaceTimed me from his phone so B and I could talk. Not sure how the rest of this went down. I think B fell asleep, but his friend and I FaceTimed for the rest of the night. During this conversation, his friend told me that I seem like a nice girl, but I should really be cautious with B. He said B is a womanizer. He gets easily distracted by other girls. He knows he's hot and thinks he can get any girl he wants. He knows he has me, so the less attention I give to him, the more interested he'll be in me. He also said him and B don't talk about other girls, but he thinks B could be talking to other girls. His friend also claimed that he's had this conversation really often with girls that are seeing B. He also asked me not to tell B about this convo. In this same conversation, I also found out that the friend cheated on his ex 4 times that she knows of. I need input. I don't know why B's friend would trash talk him. I don't know if I should believe him or not. I also don't know how to be cautious while still letting someone in. Help. Comment 1. B has a past, but you sound like you're making him reconsider his old ways. His friend may have a crush on you as well as the other girls he told these things to. I would be careful when listening to that guy. He's not much of a friend to B. Comment 2. I don't think this info should just be dismissed, but I don't think it's worth addressing right now. I would certainly keep it in the back of your mind if anything ever comes up that supports any of the friend's claims. You certainly shouldn't believe the friend more than you believe B or others you have spoken to. I am confused about the initial conversation when you met B's parents. Did you ask the friend if B has ever been dishonest or disloyal, or is this just something he said when talking up his friend? The reason I ask is because you may be putting too much faith into the friend's opinions, which can hinder you from getting to know B and developing your own opinion about him. Comment 3. Right now you don't really have any way to determine whether or not B's friend is telling the truth. You've only known B for a few weeks. Proceed with caution and use your own judgment and try to assess what B is really like. Be wary of B's friend, but also don't just dismiss what he is saying out of hand. Comment 4. I was that friend. I had a guy best friend who was a really great guy except for the fact that he cheated on every single girlfriend he was with. One time I did end up talking to his then girlfriend when she found out he was chatting with another girl, and I was totally honest about his character. Obviously, I'm condensing this story down, but we're not friends anymore because I decided it didn't matter how great he was in other areas, I couldn't stand him treating women that way anymore. I don't see why you'd dismiss this friend. I'd bet money he's a womanizer. The friend has probably just seen this as a single problem with his character and justifies it by thinking they're such good friends in other respects. Comment 5. I'd discount B's friend. He hasn't really said anything damaging regarding B's feelings towards you, him talking to other girls, or him cheating. Being distracted by other girls is okay if you're not in some committed relationship. You've only been hanging out for a short period of time, so just judge this guy on his actions and take it from there. At this stage, this relationship very possibly could go nowhere for lots of different reasons. You might see things you don't like, or he might. I'd just be my own judge and take it from there. This story is titled, Are These People High Maintenance or Am I 25 Female, a Bad Friend? Does anyone else get extremely stressed about replying to texts? It's becoming a huge issue for me. If someone had said this to me before I felt like this, I would have thought they're probably just exaggerating. In fact, I have so much going on that texts feel like a chore. It feels like my friends are way too talkative and send multiple paragraphs in a row about things I do not have the energy for nor care about multiple times a day. I'm not exaggerating when I say at the end of the day, I have some 50 texts to reply to. I have a job which takes up a lot of my time and effort, and I also have a family at home which I like to give time to, as well as my hobbies, and sometimes, just sometimes, I like to have time to relax and breathe. This is not to say I don't want friends, but I think this level of commitment and maintenance is entirely too much. I'm just asking if anyone else feels like this at all, or if I'm just being an asshole friend. I try to reply every time I can, but every time I cross it off my mental to-do list, they just send more texts and it never ends. It feels like never-ending homework with absolutely no point or destination. I don't mind this in phone calls or the odd long text every now and again, but when it becomes the norm to send paragraphs upon paragraphs every day, it becomes very draining very fast. But I don't want to lose friends for something like this. Every time I've spoken to anyone about this, they just laugh it off as the, oh, you're so popular, lucky you, some of us don't have friends, etc. And it looks like I'm trying to show off. If it's worth mentioning, I am not. I am genuinely struggling to keep up, and I've felt really overwhelmed so many times because of this, on top of the deadlines for work I'm required to meet. Any advice? Comment 1. No one is an asshole here. Not you, and not your friends either. Just a case of mismatched needs and expectations. Hopefully you can bring them back into alignment. Call your friends. You want them to hear your voice when you say this. Don't text it. Tell them you're feeling overwhelmed. Ask them to scale back the texting. If you want to talk to them, book a call, walk, FaceTime for when you have time. Or, you can also tell them they can certainly keep on texting you the same amount, but you've got to let yourself off the hook on replying every day. They may go a few days between hearing from you, and that shouldn't stress them out or make them feel neglected. You just need to change your relationship with texts and your phone, but you still value your friendship with them. Comment 2. For the sake of curiosity, are you living somewhere that's still heavily affected by the pandemic? I'm in the US, and we're basically still on lockdown where I live. I've noticed that some of my friends need way more communication than me. My way to cope with lockdown is to focus on solo hobbies, time with my family, same things as you. But some people are lonely, don't have families, miss regularly having that social outlet, etc. I'm going to echo the sentiment of other commenters who say nobody is wrong here, people just need different things. Comment 3. I'd actually be very unsurprised if you were my former friend that I just ended things with about this exact issue. Technically, no, you're not being an asshole. You're entitled to your time and your mental energy and can set boundaries. But your friends are not unreasonable or high maintenance for wanting to talk to their friend. And making them feel like a burden for wanting to talk to you is absolutely not going to help maintain your friendship with them. Definitely communicate to them that you're feeling overwhelmed and need time, but don't expect them to wait around. They're allowed to set boundaries too, and wanting to actually be friends with their friend is a reasonable boundary. My former friend kept making excuses when in reality she just couldn't respond to my texts. And that's fine, but that also meant I was going to stop texting her. Neither of us were wrong, we just weren't compatible. Comment 4. I don't feel the need to respond to every text I receive. The phone is there to serve my needs, not the needs of the people on the other end. Comment 5. No one is expecting you to reply. I have text convos like this with my friends. If I'm not busy, I engage. If I am busy, sometimes I'll read them later, sometimes not at all. My friends are the same way. Sometimes one or two will respond, and then next time it's a different one or two. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.